their relationship is so tragic. You know, it's so unhealthy. He doesn't love her. He doesn't want to be with her. He hates her.
There are things that I would love to go back and change. I have regrets.
Never expect don't marry a man thinking you can change him.
Okay, so listen. Jennifer Garner has seemingly given new insight into the difficult period surrounding her marriage to Ben Affleck. And now, old rumors involving Blake Lively are back in the spotlight. In a past interview, Garner reflected on how difficult it was to deal with everything happening publicly, saying, "You have to be smart about what you can and can't handle, and I could not handle what was out there." That comment has taken on a whole new meaning as old stories about Affleck and Lively have resurfaced online. But before we get into the full story, take a look at this old TikTok clip of Jennifer Garner that fans have interpreted as a possible jab at Blake Lively. Is it really shade, or are people reading too much into it? You be the judge.
This is where I go to commune with Blake Lively. See how she's doing. How you doing, Blake? You're looking good.
To understand the context behind this statement, you need to know that Jennifer Garner appeared alongside Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Wolverine. She later shared a behind-the-scenes video that many viewers interpreted as a subtle jab at Blake Lively. Garner seemed to give fans the key to understanding the joke through her caption, writing, "Filmmaker note, yes, of course, it's a beautiful Scarlet Witch," a line that immediately sparked speculation about the hidden meaning behind the post.
Was Jen Garner throwing shade at Blake Lively because of what Blake and Ben did back in 2009?
That seems to confirm, at the very least, that Jen Garner does not like Blake Lively.
Now, as you saw in that video, Jennifer Garner wasn't simply talking to some random statue. She was clearly referencing the Scarlet Witch character from the Marvel Universe, and that is where many viewers believe the real jab came in. Some interpreted the reference as Garner calling Blake Lively a witch, a loaded Hollywood-style insult often used in stories involving alleged romantic interference. Of course, that interpretation is speculation, but it quickly became part of the online conversation. And the irony made the moment even more interesting. Garner was standing on the set of a Marvel production connected to Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, while making a reference that some fans viewed as a subtle dig at Blake. But the Scarlet Witch comparison goes even deeper. In Marvel, Wanda Maximoff is known for manipulating reality through her powers, creating a world that reflects her own desires. By drawing that comparison, critics argued that Garner may have been mocking the carefully polished image surrounding Blake, a wholesome public persona that, according to her detractors, looks very different from the controversies and accusations surrounding her behind the scenes.
Calling Blake Lively a witch. And maybe, just maybe, that's because Blake Lively allegedly slept with her husband?
This whole controversy traces back to a movie Ben Affleck was working on in 2009. At the time, Affleck had significant control over the production, and when it came to casting the troubled ex-girlfriend character, Jennifer Garner might have expected him to choose someone with the experience and range to handle such a demanding role. Instead, the story centers on his decision to cast a 22-year-old actress, Blake Lively, who is then known primarily for her work on a teen drama. From the beginning of production, the situation has been portrayed as crossing professional boundaries, particularly because Affleck was married to Jennifer Garner, who was pregnant at the time and had a young child at home. One of the most controversial claims involves a private scene between Affleck and Lively being filmed on her very first day, something that has since been described as uncomfortable and awkward. Lively later discussed the experience in an interview, and that interview has become another piece of the story that fans continue to examine for clues about what may have happened behind the scenes.
It's, nerve-wracking. It's your first day on set. You're doing your characters. It's there to tell a key part of the story in their relationship. And I was nervous the night before, and I remember talking to Jeremy. And so I thought, I don't know what's going to happen. And he said, it's just all in the eyes. That was it.
That's all I ended up in the scene.
I don't know about y'all, but it honestly makes you wonder how Jennifer Garner may have felt as rumors about the situation began circulating. Anyone who has ever suspected that their partner might be getting too close to someone else understands how painful and confusing that kind of uncertainty can be, especially when you don't have the full story yet. According to claims that have circulated about the production, Ben Affleck allegedly began acting more like a lovesick teenager than a married man with responsibilities at home. Some accounts describe him as noticeably excited whenever Blake Lively arrived on set, while others claim the two spent increasing amounts of their free time together. There have also been allegations about private dinners and late-night meetings supposedly connected to the movie, with critics interpreting those encounters as something more than professional. None of those claims, however, establish that an affair actually occurred, but they have fueled the speculation surrounding the two stars and what may have been happening behind the scenes.
There are some people, though, like Blake Lively, I heard, sort of didn't understand.
Blake, yes, is not 40. Blake is 21 or whatever she is, 22. She's a fabulous, as you can see, she's a gorgeous young woman.
Now, this is where the story becomes even more emotional. According to accounts surrounding the production, while Ben Affleck and Blake Lively were working on the East Coast, Jennifer Garner was in Los Angeles caring for their young daughter Violet and was pregnant with their second child, Serafina. That contrast makes the situation especially painful to imagine. Garner was focused on motherhood and the everyday responsibilities of keeping her family together, while Affleck was publicly praising his much younger co-star and predicting that she would become a major Hollywood star. Some reports and later speculation have portrayed the situation as though Affleck was becoming increasingly distracted by Lively, although there is no confirmed evidence that the two had an affair. What stands out, however, is how Garner has often been viewed as someone who handled difficult moments with remarkable composure. According to the story being circulated, when concerns about what was happening on the Boston set reached her, she decided not to simply sit back and wonder what was going on. She reportedly traveled to Boston with her children while pregnant, a move that has since been interpreted as an attempt to confront the situation and protect her family. Whether every detail of that account is accurate or not, the image of a pregnant mother crossing the country because she feared her marriage was being threatened certainly adds another emotional layer to the story.
I've made plenty of mistakes, some big, some small. I wish I could go back time and change all kinds of things, but I can't.
When Jennifer Garner reportedly arrived on the set of The Town, the situation was said to become even more tense. According to the accounts circulating online, her presence made it clear that she was aware of the rumors and was not willing to ignore what she believed was happening between Ben Affleck and Blake Lively. Her arrival may have cooled the situation temporarily, but the alleged tension had already created serious strain. It is difficult to imagine how humiliating and emotionally exhausting that experience must have been for someone who was pregnant and trying to protect her family. The story becomes even more dramatic when it reaches a birthday celebration that Garner reportedly organized for Affleck. Some accounts claim Lively attended the gathering while publicly linked to Leonardo DiCaprio, adding another uncomfortable layer to the situation. Even more sensational allegations have circulated about an alleged private encounter between Lively and Affleck inside the home, but those claims are not established facts and should be treated as unverified. What makes the story so controversial is not simply the allegation itself, but the way these rumors have been repeatedly used to portray a deeply personal family moment as part of a much larger Hollywood scandal.
I don't believe anybody's good or bad. She's definitely flawed, she's definitely damaged, but she was very complex.
Okay, so if the alleged on-set relationship and the bathroom rumors were like hidden poison slowly damaging the marriage, then the events of 2011 became an even bigger public scandal. A large collection of intimate photographs said to have been taken from Blake Lively's phone was leaked online, and the images quickly became the subject of intense speculation. Some claims suggested that the photographs had been sent to Ben Affleck, but that allegation has never been reliably established. Lively's representatives reportedly disputed the authenticity of the images, while others online attempted to connect them to her through supposed clues. Among the details people pointed to were star-shaped tattoos that appeared similar to temporary tattoos associated with her character in The Town, as well as a cell phone case that some claimed resembled one Lively had been seen using during production in Boston. However, those comparisons do not prove who was actually depicted in the photographs or who received them. The controversy nevertheless became another major piece of the online narrative surrounding Lively, Affleck, and the rumors that had followed them since The Town.
There were tattoos similar that she had, and like a star, and as well as her same cell phone.
The controversy became even more complicated when claims about legal action failed to produce any clear public follow-through. Lively's representatives reportedly disputed the authenticity of the images and discussed potential legal consequences, but there was no publicly established lawsuit that proved the allegations being circulated online. At the same time, some of the images eventually became harder to find online, leading people to speculate that someone had taken steps to have them removed. However, the removal of material from the internet does not prove that the photographs were authentic or establish who was responsible for removing them. For Jennifer Garner, the situation was portrayed as another deeply humiliating moment in a much larger narrative. While she was focused on raising her children and navigating pregnancy, rumors suggested that her husband had been receiving intimate material connected to his young co-star. Whether those rumors were true or not, the story illustrates just how painful and invasive the public speculation surrounding their marriage had become.
You kind of can't help it, right? Because you don't have the benefit of both sides, the yin and yang, being in the same house. And so you have to have a bit of both in the way that you parent.
After the photo controversy, the story took another turn when Jennifer Garner's circle was portrayed as refusing to let the scandals simply disappear. At the 2011 MTV Movie Awards, Reese Witherspoon made a pointed joke about the culture surrounding celebrity scandals and private photos without directly naming Blake Lively. Many viewers later interpreted the remark as a subtle reference to the controversy, turning an already embarrassing situation into another moment of public scrutiny. However, without a direct confirmation from Witherspoon, the connection remains an interpretation rather than an established fact.
When I came up in this business, if you made a mistake, you were embarrassed and you hid it under your bed. And like if you took naked pictures of yourself on your cell phone, you hide your face, people. Like, hide your face.
Many viewers interpreted Reese Witherspoon's comments as a direct shot at Blake Lively, even though Lively was never named and the cameras did not focus on her reaction. The speculation grew after Witherspoon's representatives reportedly clarified that the remark was not intended as a reference to Lively, but by then, the internet had already formed its own interpretation. Fans viewed the moment as a pointed warning from someone within Jennifer Garner's wider circle, suggesting that the controversy had not gone unnoticed in Hollywood. Garner's friendship with Witherspoon was also frequently highlighted during difficult periods in her life, although there is no verified evidence that Witherspoon's comments were specifically part of a campaign against Lively. The alleged connection between the two women ultimately became another layer of the larger narrative surrounding the rumors, the leaked photographs, and the intense public attention surrounding Garner and Affleck's marriage.
I think back to going through a very public, very hard moment in my life. This one was right there, and the way I needed to get through it was dance cardio. And I danced cardio so hard we broke her foot, but she kept going.
Now, there's something important we need to put into perspective. The internet narrative has often portrayed Blake Lively's romantic history as part of a larger pattern, but many of the most dramatic claims about her relationships remain unverified. In 2010, while Blake was dating her Gossip Girl co-star Penn Badgley, she met Ryan Reynolds while filming Green Lantern. Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson at the time, but there is no reliable public evidence establishing that Blake and Ryan had an affair during production or that their relationship caused Reynolds and Johansson's divorce. Around the same period, Blake was also working with Ben Affleck on The Town, which has fueled years of speculation about their relationship, although claims that they had an affair or exchanged intimate photographs have not been reliably established either. Later in 2011, Blake was publicly linked to Leonardo DiCaprio before ultimately reconnecting with Reynolds. The two were married in September 2012. Looking back at that timeline, it is easy to see why online commentators have tried to connect the dots, but a timeline alone does not prove that Blake intentionally targeted married men or caused the breakdown of their marriages. What is undeniable is that these relationships became part of a much larger Hollywood narrative, one that continues to shape how people view Blake, Ryan, Scarlett, and Jennifer Garner today.